Welcome to Ergonomics and Massage, keeping your body healthy at work and beyond.
Hi everyone, I'm Penny Hill with Rising Sun Massage and EFT Tapping for Stress Relief. I've been helping people reduce stress in their bodies and their minds with massage and with tapping since 1990. And today I'm here with my friend Seraphine Lillian. We're here to discuss 3 of the most common errors in your working environment that may be causing you pain in your body, and how you can feel better, reduce your pain, and be more effective at work with less effort.
And I'm Seraphine Lillian. I have my own ergonomic consulting business called Ergo Arts. I have done about 18,000 ergonomic evaluations, and my passion is in creating prudent ergonomic solutions to help working people use their bodies to be more productive, have more energy, and to feel good.
Seraphine has identified 3 of the most common ergonomic issues people experience with computer work. I'll let her explain what these issues are, and then I'll describe how they play out in your body.
Before I begin, I'd like to point out that our contact information will be at the end of the video. When I come in to an office, for example, the first thing I notice is that someone's monitor height is too low for their eye height. This can lead to a C-shaped spine with awkward neck posture. The eyes tend to lead you, and if you're always looking down, your body will follow. And one can then slump into what's called a C-shaped spine. In the first photo, the woman's head is forward of her neck. The woman's head is forward from her shoulder. And the photo after that, I have added some arrows, and you can see where the head really needs to be. The head needs to be lined up with the shoulder. And there's another example in the next photo. This poor person is completely hunched over into a C-shaped spine there. His head is really, really far forward. And then the image after that, I've added some more arrows, and this time I started from the hip, because that's really where he needs to be centered, is from his hip. Ideally, you need to have your ear, shoulder, elbow, and then hip aligned. So he really needs to have his head back and his shoulder back in order to have that alignment. And this is really important because, as you can see in the next image, the head weighs about 10 to 12 pounds. So when the head is lined up with the shoulder or in a neutral position, the head weighs about 10 to 12 pounds. If the head is 15 degrees forward from the shoulder, you've now increased the weight of the head to double that number. And if the head is 60 degrees forward from the shoulder, then the head would weigh 60 pounds. That's a lot of weight for your upper back, neck, and shoulder muscles to carry. And I'm sure Penny can describe more about the physical aspect of this position.
The body, like many systems, maintains harmony through balance. When one muscle contracts, its opposite lengthens. When the body is working in alignment, the forces of muscular strength and tension should balance out. And every muscle has its main job. In the example of the head too far forward or looking down, the muscles that normally hold the head up, the ones in the back of the neck, are overstretched, while the muscles in the front of the neck are too tight in an effort to keep your head from falling onto your chest. The muscles in the front and side of the neck are designed to flex the head forward and rotate the head from side to side. They are not built to hold the head up for hours a day. Tension in the neck and shoulders is present in almost everyone. And one of the reasons is we are often asking the neck and shoulder muscles to do jobs that are not rightly theirs to do. They can pitch in when necessary, but are not designed to be doing these jobs long term. Working in an ergonomically neutral position greatly reduces the muscular strain you will develop.
Here's a picture of the body in a neutral position with the head over the neck, looking straight ahead, and the monitor lined up appropriately. You also want to take into consideration the distance between you and the monitor. Ideally, you want the distance to be about arm's length away. And then you want to make sure that the viewing angle is such that you're not going to get any glare from a window or from an overhead light. The next obvious thing that I see when I walk into an office is the seated keying height. Usually I see people keying at a level too high, with the elbows either out to the side or far out in front of them. And then this can cause shoulder muscles getting stretched out in front of them. Check this out for yourself. You may be doing this. In an ideal seated position, the elbows are resting at the side of the body and only the lower arms are out in space. I always tell people to get in touch with their T-Rex arms, short arms. When you type this way, the keying surface needs to be lowered. Try it yourself. When your arms are out in front of you, your arm is higher off the ground. When your elbow is close to the side of the body, your forearm is lower to the ground. As you can see in this first example of an awkward posture, this person's elbows are forward and the arm is up against gravity, as well as the head and neck being forward. And then in the next photo, you can see how I've added the arrows again, wanting to keep that ear, shoulder, elbow, and hip aligned and having those elbows back. And you can see how if those elbows were back, then the typing surface would need to be drastically lowered. And the next example is a person with their arm winged out all the way to the side. That's involving the shoulder, the elbow, and the forearm. So again, ear, shoulder, elbow, and hip needs to be lined up. And usually this is caused by fixed desk height and no adjustable keyboard tray. Standard desk height is usually 29 inches. Average elbow height, subjective info based on 18,000 ergo evaluations, is about 27 inches. Therefore, if one is a touch typist, the keying height needs to be about 26 inches high. Again, keying height needs to be lowered when I see people sitting in front of computers.
If the keyboard is too high relative to the forearm, the shoulder muscles will engage to raise the arm, putting these muscles into a perpetual state of contraction. The usual human thing to do is to tense the shoulder muscles as a way to lift the arms. This chronic tension reduces blood flow and can cause discomfort in your neck, arms, and shoulders. If your arms are out in front of you, you'll feel the chest muscles working overtime as well. Plus, there are other muscles that are conscripted to keep the arms elevated. This all leads to chronic arm, neck, and shoulder tension and pain, which can even radiate down your arm. If you are in a slumped posture, this means that there are abdominal muscles doing the job of supporting the lumbar spine, which is not their job. The loss of this curve eliminates the support the bony structure should be providing, causing the wrong muscles to be working, and at the same time, weakening the muscles that are supposed to be working, causing weakness where there should be strength. In addition to the C-shaped spine that is so obvious in this picture, you can also see how the abdominal cavity is compressed by the rib cage resting on it, and that restricts the diaphragm. This can lead to shallow breathing, which in turn leaves you feeling tired and fatigued. And the compression of the abdomen can lead to a whole other set of issues.
I find it amazing that even online, you may not find good information on how to set up your workstation correctly. This woman is standing at her desk with a pretty good neutral posture, except for her arms. Her arms are almost straight. And when her arms are almost straight, that means her wrist is going to be bent back. So the thing that I see when people are standing is that their workstations are too low. It's the opposite problem I see of when people are sitting. And when they're sitting and their desk is too low, one thing that happens is the wrist is in an awkward position. And that can really affect the muscles and the tendons and the nerves in the hand, wrist, forearm, and elbow. The next picture also has an image of somebody sitting and somebody standing. And the seated position looks pretty good. The person is in a pretty neutral position, except of course the monitor is way too low. And the same thing with the example for the standing person. His arm is pretty much almost straight again. And so therefore his wrist has to bend back into that awkward position. So ideally what you want to do is same thing as when you're seated, is to keep your elbows close to the side of your body. When your elbows are going to be close to the side of the body, the desk would need to be raised so that the forearms, hands, and wrists are in neutral, pretty much a straight line. When the desk is too low, then the body compensates by bending at the wrist, and this can cause all sorts of discomforts in the forearm, hand, wrist, and areas of the body.
When the wrist is chronically extended, which means the back of the hand is moving towards the elbow, the forearm muscles on the top of the arm shorten. Like any muscle held in one position for too long, they get starved of nutrition and waste products build up due to reduced blood flow through the area. This causes a lot of irritation to the tissues and is a state of affairs that leads to short and long-term discomfort and possibly dysfunction. Keeping your wrist in a neutral position is the best defense against visits to the doctor and the physical therapist. I have a couple of movements, exercises, stretches for you to do that will greatly benefit your shoulders and your arms and your wrists. The first is so simple. You just shrug and relax. Shrug and relax. And that allows the muscles to contract and relax, and that pushes fluids through and nourishes them, but also reminds your body of what contracted feels like and what relaxed feels like. So here is a nice stretch that you can also do for your arms and wrists. If you put your arm out in front of you, take your other hand and push your wrist down and stretch. Now you want to do these gently and in 1 to 2 second pulses. And then you can turn your arm over and again stretch 1 to 2 seconds for each pulse. Do them gently and don't overdo. Bring your elbow to a 90-degree angle. And then with the palm down, reach across to the outer edge of your hand and rotate in towards the body. And then switch to your palm up. Reach under, grab the base of your thumb, and pull away from your body. Gentle movements, short duration. And of course, you want to do both sides. And with stretching, as always, the best approach is to do less more often, than to try and do a lot every once in a while. So I think Seraphine also has a tip for you coming up.
From an ergonomic perspective, I recommend that you and everyone else take a 1 to 2 minute break for every 30 minutes of work. When the body is not moving, then we have what's called static posture. If you're sitting or standing in one place for too long and not moving, the blood pools and does not flow through your body as efficiently. This can lead to stagnant blood flow, less oxygen to the tissues, and down the line, possibly aches and pains, which we want to avoid. A professional tip: set a timer by your workstation or use your mobile phone as a timer for 30 minutes. And when it rings, when it goes off, respect the beep and get up and move around for 1 to 2 minutes.
This is just a quick look into how the body works and how the consequences of our daily habits can build up into the all too familiar aches and pains of the back, low back, neck, and arms. But it doesn't have to be that way. We should strive for balance and harmony in the body if we wish to reduce discomfort in the body. Of course, it's too much to think about keeping the proper muscular alignment at your workstation all day while you're working. That's why you need to build it in. I'm always coaching my clients about structure, and Seraphine's work will set you up so you don't have to think about it. Everything will be structured to support you and your long-term health.
These are 3 top issues. Believe me, there are more. I wish you to feel good enjoying other activities during your time away from the computer. For ergonomic consultation, please feel free to contact me at seraphine@ergoarts.net or visit my website at www.ergoarts.net. If you want to make sure this is what you need, we can do a free 10-minute phone call at 650-224-7294.
Massage, of course, is a great stress relief tool. But if you would like to explore other stress relief methods, I am also a certified EFT practitioner. Now, you may have heard of EFT or not, but you can check out my tapping website at calmhealthease.com.